Today we're going to talk about how to invest $1,000, $10,000, and $100,000. Now, first of all, before making any investment decisions, it's very important to take into consideration your personal situation. So what I'm going through next here is just for illustrative purposes only, and it does not in any way construe advice. Okay, we have scenario number one. It's your first $1,000 that you've ever invested. Let's assume that you're going to immediately invest it. You have three options. You can make 4.5% in low risk, 6.5% in medium risk, and 10% in high risk. And of course, the only one that's guaranteed, by the way, is the low risk option. Let's also assume that in a separate bank account, you're going to save $100 a month. So over the period of a year, you've actually set aside $1,200. So let's look at the impact of the investment return on your initial $1,000. You're going to earn in scenario one, low risk, $45, medium risk, $65, and high risk, the most you could earn is, let's say, $100. Did you know that in the beginning, when you're first starting to invest, it actually really doesn't make that big of a difference what kind of return that you're making, because your savings will have a much bigger impact, 120% of your original amount in this scenario. So $45, $65, $100 in potential earnings versus $1,200 on the other side in personal savings. So it's much more important when you're first starting out to focus on the amount that you can save monthly. And it doesn't have to be a lot of money. It has to be meaningful to you, not so much that it's impacting your lifestyle, but also an amount that is actually going to amount to something. But like I said, it doesn't have to be $1,000 a month. It could be $100 a month or $500 a month, depending on what your budget is. So in the beginning, focus more on your savings and less on what you're investing in. Okay, we're into scenario number two. You've got $10,000. It's the first lump sum of money you've ever invested. Same thing as scenario number one. You're setting aside $100 a month. So by the end of 12 months, you have $1,200. Option number one, low risk. You're going to earn 4.5% or $450. That's maybe a weekend for two at a hotel, maybe actually one night. Scenario number two, balanced approach, $650 or 6.5%. Now we're talking some serious money. And scenario number three, the high risk option, where you're going to earn 10%, possibly because it's not guaranteed, or $1,000. Okay, now we're talking a bit more money. And $1,000 to most people, the difference between $450 and $1,000 in the different options is meaningful. But your savings still make the biggest impact, coming in at $1,200 over a period of 12 months, or 12% of your total initial savings. So even in a scenario where you have $10,000 to invest, your personal discipline of savings each month by setting aside just $100 still makes a more meaningful impact than your investment decisions. However, the investment decisions are starting to become more impactful and more important. Scenario number three, you have $100,000 to invest. It's your first time investing. You're still saving $100 a month or $1,200 over the period of a year. Option number one, you're going to earn $4,500 or 4.5%. The medium risk option is 6.5% or $6,500, or the higher risk option, which is 10%, again, which would not be guaranteed, either the medium risk or high risk option, and you're going to earn $10,000. Now your savings in this scenario are $1,200. They're still meaningful, but it's only 1.2% of the total. Whereas the investment options, the rate of return when you have a larger pot of money really starts to make a difference. So the difference for most people between $4,500 on one hand on the low risk option and $10,000 at the high risk option, now you really want to start paying more attention to the rate of return that you are making. Your savings still make a big impact over time. So you still need to focus on savings. But when you have a larger pot of money, this is when you really want to sit down with your wealth management advisor, work through some scenarios, look at your risk variability options for you. What are you comfortable with? What fits within your personal life, and make a plan that's right just for you. I hope this has been helpful. I'm Anna Hilberry. Thank you so much for listening.